Hi everyone, I'm Karl from Auto. I just wanted to really quickly go over the term FOB, what's meant by that, just in case there was any confusion. I got a couple of questions after the first video where we threw that term around a little bit, so just wanted to make sure that there was no confusion whatsoever as to what is exactly meant by that. So FOB is one of quite a few Incoterms. This is terminology established by the International Chamber of Commerce in order to precisely and consistently write international trade contracts. So along an international supply chain, there are quite a lot of ways we can transact goods, and these Incoterms are going to help us describe what kind of a transaction is taking place. The main parameters that are going to be described by these Incoterms are who is responsible for which costs, and at what point exactly does risk transfer from seller to buyer. Now, FOB is one of these. FOB means free on board. So this is placed on a ship. Supposing this is the standard way we use this term is FOB origin port. So in our case, this might be FOB Buenaventura or FOB Cartagena, naming the port from which we're exporting coffee, the port at which the buyer, most likely the importer, is going to take responsibility for the cargo. So FOB is not the only way to transact coffee. This could be Ex Works. EXW is Ex Works, and that just means the goods are turned over at any agreed upon location. So this doesn't have anything to do with the actual exporting and importing and international transport. In green coffee, you could very well have a mill selling Ex Works to an exporter, or even to an importer who's then going to have exporting set up by someone else. But this would be Ex Works, Triora San Vicente, or whatever. Then we have FCA, free carrier. So this is just the goods are turned over to any sort of carrier, a trucker, a train conductor, whatever it is. FAS is another. CIF, similar to FOB, except for the exporter is in CIF will be responsible for cost, insurance, freight. So basically, that just means the exporter has to pay the shipping line for the cost of transporting the goods from the port of origin to the port of destination. DAP, delivered at place, or DDP, delivery, duty paid. A parcel shipment, like a DHL or FedEx or something, would most likely be DDP terms because they're taking care of everything up until the recipient's door. So back to FOB, since this is a very common Incoterm used in green coffee. This is FOB origin port is going to be sent to the port. In this case, the exporter, the seller, is going to be responsible for port handling. So this doesn't just mean bringing this coffee to the port and that's it. They're responsible for all the movements and operations involved in between the entrance to the port and actually passing the rail. Well, the rails didn't really exist anymore on ships, on being loaded onto an actual ship. This may sound like nothing, but I assure you, in a lot of origin countries, there are quite a lot of operations that need to happen, and this gets complex and expensive. Outbound customs and loaded onto the ship. Important to keep in mind that FOB term is only relevant to sea freight. While we're on the topic, another term I used in our first video that's sometimes thrown around in green coffee is FOT. This is free on truck. So this is only relevant to truck shipping. And I just found out today, using FOT my whole career, that this actually is not a legitimate Incoterm anymore. Now the correct term is FCA, free carrier, which we saw up here. It's used in international shipping as well. So this is more likely what the way a roaster is purchasing from an importer, loaded onto to the truck from the green coffee warehouse, or maybe not loaded onto the truck, but in the possession of the carrier. So let's draw this FOB line as if it were the national border. Essentially, it's when green coffee is going to be leaving a country. And what does that mean to the actors involved? Well, that really depends on the kind of supply chain that's being employed here. This could be a producer that is dealing with everything: milling, sales, doing the exporting, dealing with customs and freight brokeraging, everything. And the producer could be selling FOB. I mean, the producer could even be selling all the way to the roaster's door if they own the export entity, and if they own the import company and are dealing with all that logistics in there. That's one possibility. This could be a producer working with an exporter, so selling to an exporter who's then going to sell that to someone else, FOB. This could be going to a co-op or an association who is taking care of importing themselves. That's happening more and more. More likely, this is going through a co-op or association, then to an exporter who is then selling to an importer, FOB. Or really, probably the majority of coffee being bought and sold in the world is going from producers to an intermediary, or any number of intermediaries, maybe one or some of them, some sort of co-op, to an exporter, and then that's being sold FOB to an importer. The transactions between all of these actors are independent, and of course, if a producer is selling to an exporter for one price, the exporter is not going to sell to an importer for less than that on purpose. But the FOB price has nothing to do with any of the transactions previous to it in the supply chain, which is to say that unless the producer is selling FOB, the FOB price doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the producer price. Well, I hope that cleared up any questions there may have been about what FOB price. If you're just finding out about Cedro Alto through these videos, you should probably know that as a farmers collective, our main objective is to sell the green coffees produced by our members to roasters in other parts of the world that appreciate these coffees and are willing to compensate farmers for their efforts. Right now, we have spot coffees in the US, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. And depending on quantity, we can deliver anywhere in the world. If you're interested in sourcing coffees through our collective group and partnering with one or more producers, feel free to reach out to me directly. My contact information is in the description of this video. If there are still any questions about what FOB price means or about Incoterms in general, I'd be happy to take care of them in another video or send along links to places you can learn more about these complex topics of international trade. Thanks a lot for watching. If you find this information interesting, please subscribe and stay tuned for new videos every Wednesday. Thank you.